hear from you and the issues that you want to talk about. Yes.
Back in July, you voted for an amendment to HR, I believe it was 3074, it was a Transportation and Development Appropriations Bill. The amendment 630, the Hunter Amendment, was to prohibit funding from that bill to going towards SPP working groups. You voted for it, which I commend you for. But my question is, can you explain to your constituents what the SPP is and why you're prohibiting funding to it and what else you're doing on the federal level to prohibit funding to it?
Well, first of all, we don't do bills by number. You do, but we don't. So,
right. This was, I got the, do you want me to read you the entire bill?
Well, if you have something, I'll look at it. But, you know, the public always thinks that we memorize numbers.
Well, I mean, that's, the bill number is
I know,
not
you
the
have
issue.
to. So, and when you call me, you have, if you give
The
me
bill number is not the issue, okay? Can you explain to your constituents what the SPP is and why you would prohibit funding to it?
Not without you giving me what you have in your pocket. I'll be happy to look at it and trigger that memory on a bill from back in June, you said?
July.
Okay.
Not that. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It was the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development and Related Agencies Act of 2008. The amendment was the Hunter Amendment 630.
And what was his amendment?
It was to prohibit funding to the SPP working groups from this bill.
What is it, SPP or whatever?
That's what I'm trying to get her to answer.
Yeah, I'll be happy to get back with you on it, but right now...
You're telling me you don't know what the SPP is. You're telling me you don't know what the Security and Prosperity Partnership is.
Yeah, obviously, why don't you answer his question?
No, I want you to answer the question.
Well, I'll be happy to get back with you.
We didn't come here to be sharp-shot. You know,
if she's voting, we should know why she's voting.
Exactly.
Well, I'll be happy.
She has a responsibility to.
Obviously, this gentleman has an agenda here. He comes in here with his camera.
Everybody has agendas,
He's trying to embarrass the...
I'm not trying to embarrass her. She voted for the amendment, which is good. Now, don't you think she should know what she's voting for?
A lot of votes, and I will be very happy to explain it to you. Are you going to give me your name and phone number so I can return your call, or should I call Mariel?
No, I'll give you my name and phone number.
Okay.
Are you going to return my call?
I'm going to call you so you can tell him.
What? Tell him what?
I mean, if he didn't want to give me his name, well, you brought it up and said you want to know too, so I'll be happy to tell you. And then
no, I said I disagreed with him, who said he didn't have a right to ask a question.
Well, everyone has a right to ask a question.
That's what you implied.
He's telling you he's doing it for a particular agenda. That's okay. So we will get back with you and you'll give us your name and number. Yes.
Do you think the...
Yes.
Given the gradual decline of the value of the dollar over the past 6-7 years, would you support a move to repeal the Federal Reserve Act and create a strong dollar backed by gold?
I would have to give that a great deal of thought, and I'm not on Ways and Means Committee, but I would be happy to give that some thought. It's not anything anyone's ever asked me, and it's a big issue. So it's not one that I would just pop. Here's my answer. And a lot of times, and the way I approach things is I've got to look at what are both sides of the story, how do I want to do it, and oftentimes, you know, it'll take me time to get all the information I feel I need to answer that within my own mind. So thank you for the question. I'll be happy to think about it.
Did you happen to
a lot of pitfalls of that?
Did you happen to see the bill that Representative Paul put into Congress about 6 months ago to repeal the Federal Reserve Act?
No, because like I told you, there's 5,000 bills a year. And
right, I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, I have not looked at that bill.
A while ago, you mentioned Osama Bin Laden. I was reading on the internet through a news service that they believe that Osama Bin Laden was spotted in a convoy, and the American intelligence agencies had a 70% probability that it was him. And it was south of Tor Bora, which I guess is in Afghanistan. They say the military refused to comment on it, and nobody can explain why the convoy wasn't attacked. Do you believe that he's in Pakistan?
I believe he moved. This is what we think. In fact, some of those Pakistan senators thought he was dead. I don't believe that. We don't believe that. We think that he is alive, that he's on dialysis, that he moves every day. And that's good. I hope the guy does have to move every day and that he has to worry every time that we're going to get him, because if we could get a spot on him, Mario, he'd be gone.
But do you know
My
anything about
thinking
the
is-
70%?
Pardon?
Do you know anything about the 70% certainty that the American intelligence agencies were saying it was him?
I have heard about that with Toro Boro. I would assume, I don't know, because they have not told us that. Even though I have a secret clearance, a classified clearance, they don't tell us everything. And, but I have heard about that. I don't know what the thinking of the military was, but I can tell you, from being in Afghanistan, being in Iraq, meeting with our special forces, if they had a clear beat on him, he'd be gone. As they're doing with other terrorists across the board. All they need is one beat, that's where they are and they're gone. Now what the details of that are, we have not been told. I truly think he's in that, what they call the FATA, in that northwestern part of Pakistan or into Afghanistan, because these tribal people have lived between both and they don't recognize a border. We recognize a border and our military are only allowed with their rules of engagement to go so far along that border. They don't recognize a border and they go back and forth, and I truly believe that's where he is. And without the help of those tribal people.
I was just kind of following up on the Osama Bin Laden thing. I checked the FBI website and he's not even listed as being responsible for 9/11. And I also had heard, I mean, just as far as him being the face of terror, and I don't know, I was just curious about that.
He's only listed for the Cole bombings and the embassy bombings.
Well, he's the one that said he did it. We would think he didn't. I mean, we all know that he did it. We believe that he did it. And if we can find him, we're going to take him out.
So why isn't he wanted for it?
I'll be happy to talk to the FBI and give you an answer.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be happy to do that. I never asked the FBI that question, but I can.
Interesting question.
And of course, we're very distressed that a mastermind of the Cole has been released in Yemen. And I'm actually doing a resolution that will be ready on Monday, condemning that and asking the president to do everything he can do to put pressure on Yemen to lock this guy back up.
Why did they release him?
I have no idea. I have to talk to Yemen. The Department of State and the president have already come out condemning that, because supposedly he pledged allegiance to the president of Yemen, and so they've let him go. It's outrageous. It's outrageous.
Being replaced by contractors. I mean, I'm here on Virginia Tech graduate, but he agrees with me on all this too. I mean, this whole administration.
It's Drake. Hey, we know you know about the SPP, and I hope you're on the people's side on this one. Because if you're not, you'll find yourself without a job real quick.
This will make you feel better though, Ron, and there's a lot of things that happen that we don't know about, you don't know about.
Right.
But the site agent for the Willoughby Spectrum was a beautiful sunset one night, and he went out on the pier and took a picture of the sunset. By the time he could get back into the model, the phone was ringing and a voice said, "What did you just take a picture of?"